Hi everyone, welcome to the start of my sapphic reading vlog. I thought I was going to possibly theme this, but I'm not. It's just going to be sapphic books. So we are here at the end of the day, ready to start a vlog. It is the first day back for me at work after I've had bronchitis. I'm starting to get my voice back after today. I lost my voice this morning, so that was fun. But I survived the first day. I've eaten dinner. I'm home and I'm going to read a novella tonight because I've got a little bit of work to do and things to catch up on since I was away. But I want to read something first because I need to chill out. I don't have really big plans for this vlog except to kind of try and read 5 different sapphic romances. I have 2 physical ones. There is Fragments of a Fallen Star by Piano Onamayo, who I have DNF'd before, so we'll see how I go with this. This was an edition that came in a rainbow crate box, so it is very beautiful. Look at that. So I would like to read it. So the representation: black, sapphic, demisexual, transgender and non-binary rep, ace and aromantic rep. I'm hoping for good things in this. I do love that it has all of that on the inside as nutrition facts, which makes my heart happy. Not reading it tonight though, because I don't have the capacity for a fantasy romance tonight. The other physical book that I have that I'm going to read for this, The Floral Arrangement by Luly, who I love. I've read all of her books so far in the series. I'm going to get this read. The one I'm going to read tonight is Red Light by Frances M. Thompson, which is a Pride in Pine Grove novella. It's about 150 pages long. The other definite book that I'm going to try and read is Out on the Ice by Kelly Farmer, which is a hockey romance. But for now, it's going to be Red Light. And I'm going to read that so that I don't read the arc that I just got, which is Kath Richards' new hockey romance. I'm going to save that for later. But I will be reading that this week because I won't be able to help myself. But Red Light it is. Don't know anything about it. I saw it as a recommendation on Instagram, so we're going to give it a shot and I will let you know what it's about and how I like it. Alright, so I finished Red Light by Frances M. Thompson, which is about 143 pages long. It is a sapphic novella. It features 2 bisexual main characters who meet because Lucy wakes up to her boyfriend's phone going off where she sees a naked photo of Marissa, or Riz, who is the woman that he's cheating on her with. Neither of them know that he is dating someone. Lucy is autistic and queer and submissive and kind of knows exactly what she wants from a relationship, and she's kind of not getting it from her current boyfriend. And she ends up going to find Marissa to find out about the woman who he's been cheating on her with, even though she doesn't really feel any draw to her current relationship. Like, she knows it's not love, they're not going to stay together forever. And she walks in on Marissa in the bedroom, not with her partner, by herself, and the two end up talking into the night and potentially plotting revenge on Harvey, and then also talking about sort of their preferences and ending up having an encounter with each other. It's the night before Pride. They live in a small town, they've got a Pride parade the next day, and they kind of, you know, just have this moment, and Lucy feels seen for the first time. Riz is very aware that Lucy is autistic and needs to communicate what she's feeling, and in fact encourages her to openly communicate what she's feeling. It's not the best written novella out there, but it was short and steamy and a really quick read with some really funny scenes of Harvey getting called out in front of the town for cheating. And you know what, we might as well have stories where microaggressions, racism, homophobia, etc., ableism get called out in public, because we want to see it. We want to see that happen. So I'll be back when I read the next sapphic story. I also forgot to say, hang on, there was more rep in here. So we had autism. Riz is demi-romantic as well, which it's not often something that I come across as rep in a romance book. So that's great too. So I'm back earlier than expected with the next book in this sapphic reading vlog because I forgot that I had NetGalley Arc for Sweater Weather by Shannon O'Connor, which is a sapphic small town animosity to lovers kind of story. Anyway, it's about Bells, who comes to this small town because her aunt has passed away. She's there for the funeral and the reading of the will. And before all of that happens, she has a one-night stand with a girl at a bar. They don't exchange names, they don't know who the other person is. It's purely a one-night stand. And then at the reading of the will the next day, Bells discovers that her aunt has left her apple orchard, which is currently being managed by the woman that she slept with the night before, who thought that she was going to inherit it. And there's a whole lot going on in the background with the orchard, in the fact that the orchard was not doing very well monetarily. So Bells' aunt didn't want to leave it to Tilly, who she had a lot of respect for. She didn't want her to have to shoulder the burden of having to sell the property. She also knew that Bells has experience in turning things around and is very good at managing businesses. So obviously Tilly is very apprehensive about having Bells around, despite the fact that they had a great time in their one night stand. The fact that Bells is now her boss is a source of conflict. And Bells also has the external pressure of her family, who are pressuring her to sign over the property to the family, despite the fact that her aunt has said that she can't sign it over to the family. Family drama. Anyway, Bells comes up with a whole bunch of ideas to try and get this orchard back on track and to bring in revenue and all of those sorts of things. Tilly is kind of brought along for the ride, however, unhappily initially, but things do eventually turn around. There are also some side plots with some friends on the orchard, etc. And it was very fun and sweet, and it was a good audiobook. It was about 5.5 hours as an audiobook. Who were the narrators? Quinn Riley and Lindsay Dorcas were the narrators for the book, for the audiobook. It was great. It was a good, you know, short read to have on, because I really did not have the brain capacity. I was planning on reading something I really wanted to read tonight, but no, that was not happening. So I could put the audiobook on and just cook and clean and do dishes, and I finished off a craft project that I started when I was sick but couldn't finish because I got dizzy and nauseous. So I hate leaving little projects unfinished, especially when I know I can finish them in like an hour. So I got those things done. Now I might just get an Instagram post ready to post about it. All right, that was an unexpected sapphic story. I'll be back later. It's been a little while since I updated this particular vlog. I did attempt to start Fragments of a Fallen Star by Viano Onamayo, and I'm not in the mood, and I just wanted something contemporary. So I'm gonna hold out and see if the mood strikes me for reading this later on, because I would like to make it more than just a couple of pages in, but I require something very, very light at the moment. And so I ended up reading Out on the Ice by Kelly Farmer, which is a sapphic hockey romance that I've had on my Kindle for ages. Although I did jailbreak it before Kindle went nuts, and it's on my Kobo, so that's what I read it on. I forget when this was published actually. I have a feeling it's an older title, and it is about an ex-professional hockey player who has opened up her own hockey camp and hockey training for girls. And at the start of the book, it's the start of a hockey camp. She has hired a current professional women's hockey player, Amy, to come and help coach for a couple of weeks over the summer. And Amy is forward. She is very bubbly, very people pleasery. She's got a big personality, and she has adored Caro, who was her idol as a hockey player for a number of years, and she maybe has a tiny little crush on Caro, but is determined to just kind of be a great coach and get to learn as much as she can from the former defenseman, who I think has 3 Olympic medals and whatever. Anyway, across the course of the season, they end up falling for one another and having a relationship, and then decide to keep it up long distance. Amy is bisexual. She is very comfortable with who she is. She has a very strong, supportive family network. Her life is not without its faults, but she's very comfortable. And Caro, on the other hand, has a lot more difficulty. Her dad left the family. Her mother turned to religion and is deeply homophobic. Her older brother is deeply homophobic. Her sister-in-law does what her husband tells her to do. And so there's a lot of trauma for Caro in terms of family. Part of the reason why Caro left playing professionally was because she got injured, and if she returned to playing, she would risk never being able to walk properly again. So she quit while she was ahead. During the time where she was recovering from the surgery, the first surgery that she needed to have, her partner left her. And that has, you know, also left its mark. And to the point that we find out that she basically suffers now from depression. She had suicidal ideation or suicidal thoughts at that time, and went down a really dark rabbit hole, and then got help and is in therapy. And there's a lot of therapy on page. And I did get teary because there is a big major scene that happens, which is very horrific and kind of traumatic. And I got very teary because it is then Caro basically sabotaging her own relationship because she is trying to keep herself safe. And she does work through that, but not before she's said some really hurtful things to Amy. And it comes at a really terrible time as well. Like the whole thing, like everything that happens is nuts. And it all stems from the fact that Caro has tried desperately to keep her personal life and her sexual orientation out of her professional life and the training center that she has built up, because she doesn't want it to impact people feeling comfortable coming into that space, which ultimately she learns it actually has the opposite effect when they find out that she is queer. A really interesting story. I think it does hit on a lot of things. It does feel a little bit old, a fraction. I enjoyed it. I would be curious to read other books in the series, actually. I meant to look up who the other books in the series were about, so might as well do that now, because I'm procrastinating looking at the score of my own hockey team because it was not looking good. And if anyone tells me that I should be watching my team play, because they're playing away in another state this weekend, I'm waiting to see what the final score is, because I've watched a number of games where we've lost recently, and I need to be in a better place for that. Although I am repping Melbourne Ducks. This is one of our women's teams that I follow. Oh, okay. I don't know any of those characters. Okay, so it's completely different characters. So that could be fun to read about. Obviously, if I read them, I'll figure out how they're connected. So I shall be back to update this vlog whenever I get to the next book. Hello, lovely friends. So I just finished A Tale of Two Florists by Brenna Bailey, which is a sapphic romance between two 70-ish old women. It's set in a small town. We have Minnie, who has had a flower shop in the town for 30 years, and then two things happen at the start of the book. Her employee, Kat, hands in their resignation and can't tell them why they're resigning, but just says, it's not because I really want to resign, but there's a reason, and you just need to trust me. And then her best friend, Dot, also tells her that she is going away for a period of time. Minnie doesn't handle change very well. Then we meet Eleanor, who is Kat's grandmother, who is Scottish, has come to this small Canadian town and is opening a florist shop. And what follows is a game of petty rivalry. And it was a little bit petty for me, ultimately, because I don't love those kinds of stories. I think there were some really lovely scenes in the book, and I loved the floristry element, which ironically the next book I have to read is a florist one. I liked the town element. I just wish the pettiness stopped a little bit earlier. Like, there's spreading rumors, there is trying to compete with one another, there's hiring people that the other person was going to hire. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And poor Kat is caught in the middle, and I'm like, poor Kat. Kat doesn't need to be caught in the middle. They need a break because one of their favourite people and their grandmother are quarrelling. Anyway, it all culminates in both Minnie and Eleanor working together on the Sunflower Festival, and that's kind of what ultimately brings them together. It was short, it's very low steam, I think it's just kissing in the book, and there were some really lovely elements. Not a favourite, but definitely an enjoyable one. And I have read previously, I think I talked about it in another vlog or somewhere. This was my first introduction to Brenna Bailey, and this was 70 Plus Friends Falling for One Another. Delightful. I have one more book for this vlog. Hopefully I'll get to it in the next day or so. Hello, I'm here to finally wrap up this vlog because this vlog has not gone the way that I expected it to. But it's fine. We've read the 5th book. I did read The Floral Engagement by Elizabeth Luly, and I got about a third of the way in and wanted to throw this book across the room, not because it was badly written. I still love Elizabeth Luly's writing and I love the world, but I just... The last 2/3 of this book was far better than the first third for me. So this is about Roz, who is a corporate something. I don't understand corporate world, don't really care. And she's passed over for a promotion and she quits her job and she ends up buying this farm in the small town where her family lives. 6 months earlier, she ends up in a bar and she meets Olivia. And Olivia is there. Olivia is pretty certain she's queer. She doesn't really know how she identifies, but she's in this queer bar and she meets Roz, and there's a series of things that happen where she's a bit of a klutz. And they end up having a moment in the bathroom and are getting ready to, you know, go and have a one-night stand. They've agreed on it. And then when Olivia comes out of the bathroom, Roz has disappeared and she doesn't know where she's gone. So then fast forward 6 months later, Roz has bought this farm. The farm happens to be the farm that supplies Olivia's floral shop with its flowers. But Roz is planning on discontinuing growing the flowers for a number of reasons, some of them personal, but also just budget-wise. It doesn't make sense for the farm, which is currently in need of a massive financial overhaul, which is something that Roz specialises in. Olivia gets wind that Roz is planning on no longer continuing the flower farm side of the farm, goes to the farm property where Roz happens to be meeting with an investor, and there is an opportunity for Olivia to pretend to be Roz's fake girlfriend, and things spiral from there. If the angle is different, the camera battery died, I needed to change it, and yes, I'm sitting on the floor because the normal stand that this camera sits on currently has the phone attachment and I'm being lazy. I don't want to change it. Back to the book. They end up fake dating for the sake of this a financial investor person, which of course eventually blows up in their face. The reason that the first third frustrated me so much is because they're nitpicking at one another. Like, it's very petty. And I'm currently in a petty stage of my life. I don't need to read about it like that. I don't need to read about it. It took me 2 days to read because I got to about here and went, no, if I keep reading this, I'm going to DNF it. So I needed to put it down and just do something else. I went and listened to Kate Daniels because what else do I do when a book is frustrating me? So I came back to it tonight and gotten past a lot of that. They're starting to talk about feelings. Roz is very closed off, has to do with her childhood kind of stuff. Olivia is very much an open book. So once they start communicating, it's great. It's great. There's some fun moments. It says it's a small town romantic comedy. I think it's just a small town contemporary romance. I don't think there's anything rom-com about it, but I am not the biggest, I'm not the best person to be talking about rom-coms because I'm just not. I don't want to dissuade anyone from this because lots of people like enemies to lovers. I'm no longer one of those people. I used to love it. I want happy books. I want books where people are happy early, early and often. So, not my favorite book in the Sapphire Spring series, but I did enjoy it. I enjoy the series. I genuinely do, and I like Elizabeth Luly's writing, so that's why I didn't want to DNF it at all. Like, I know I have a DNF early and often policy as well. I fully, you know, stand by that, but I also know when it's an author that I love, I do trust their writing. I know I can get past part of it. I may just have to do little things to help me get past it. And I love these books because they have maps. They have maps. That's the Red Tractor Farm. And that's the map of Sapphire Springs. We love contemporary books that have maps. Tomorrow is the last day of term, so I am a little bit all over the place. A little bit all over the place. I have my 5 books read, so be proud of me. I got there eventually. Oh my gosh. End of term is nuts. End of term is nuts. So yes, that is my sapphic reading vlog. Hopefully there was something in there that piqued your interest that you might go and try out. I'll leave a list of all the books down below. In the comments, I'd love to know if you read any of the books. Are you planning on picking them up, or do you have recommendations for titles that you think I might like that are sapphic romances? Feel free to share them with me. Otherwise, feel free to leave your favorite flower emoji to let me know you're here because I have 2 florist books. I hope that everyone is doing really well. I hope that you are staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.